obsession of sanity. I don't know. I do not know how we're doing this. You know, you listen to Real Side on GCN Live. Always a pleasure to have you with me. 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5568. I really do appreciate the time you're spending with us on the air and in the chat room. Yes, I don't know. I felt a little is it sporty? It's like a sports t-shirt, right? So I'm having new masks made. I may do a pre-order on them. I don't know. You know, and, you know, I hear all these people say, pray and let's do this and let's do that. And, you know, and you really got to get our Christian friends together. You know what? Is that the only time we do this? Why aren't we praying ahead of time? Why aren't we dealing with stuff on the front end of things? Sorry. I just jumped in on this because of the last conversation I had. So I'm having some new masks made. They're going to say, you know, not God bless America. We've been using that too long. It's not getting us anywhere. How about America bless God? How about we start off there? What do you think? You know, how about we start giving him some glory and some honor and stuff like that? Just say it. Anyway, today's Veterans Day. And I want to thank all of those who really went before us. And let's not dishonor them. No, I'm not going to turn this political, but I want you to think about it. Let's not dishonor them by allowing this massive theft of American vote to happen. The freedom the countries and people all over this planet wish they had. The people that, you know, there are people that specifically come to this country because they truly and honestly have the ability to vote over the people that are going to rule over them. It's not a dictatorship, if you would. And we have allowed them to come in, or the left to come in. Because if you think about it, really, who are the people, the party, the club? Who's a club that doesn't want voter ID? And they say it disenfranchises people. Well, heck, didn't look like it did this time. There were a lot of people without voter ID, or with voter ID. And as a matter of fact, in states where there is voter ID, they have less issues. And it doesn't cut down on the percentage of people that normally come out to vote. What I love is how much they're touting that because of mail-in ballots now, a bigger portion of the country has voted. Well, if there's 350 million people and 150 million, just under 150 million people voted, we're still missing a massive portion, aren't we? So no, it doesn't really work that way, does it? Again, when you think of all the people, I don't think there's many left from. Well, I don't think there's any left from World War I. I've been wrong before, though. You think of World War II and what went down. You know, if you do some history of fascism, look at what's going on right now. When Donald Trump got elected, did we talk about making lists of people that supported Obama? Or support Democrats or support Hillary? Did we make a list of any kind? No, but it's a group on the left that wants to make a list. That's fascism, people. They want to keep them from working. Is that truly what our veterans died for? Is it the men and women that went before us, that fought and died, that frankly many on the left, not all, but many on the left, have absolutely no respect for? And I've got, the Democrat socialists, the one you really, they want to defund, forget the police, they want to defund the military. Now, for some of you who are, I don't want to say history ignorant, remember that today really started off as Armistice Day, right? In 1919. And there's been a whole, we're going to run out of time here in a second, but there's been a whole change. I'm surprised it didn't take this day and move it to Monday too. Remember, they moved all the holidays to Monday. Surprised they didn't move this one either. I wonder how many of our kids, our young people, know exactly what today was about. I'll talk about that more into the side of the break. But part of the problem that we're having when you see these kids out there and they're protesting, right? They talk about the rights that have been taken away from them. how things should be. But I got to tell you something. That's our fault. We've allowed education to go down the road of not really training up our kids, not really telling our kids or teaching our kids what today is all about. You know? Really, seriously. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Zell. See, I love my listeners. You guys are all over this stuff. The last living veteran of World War I was Florence Green, who died February 4th, 2012. At age 110. See, a good battle helps you live longer. No, really. They don't, when they don't teach our kids, when we don't show our kids what true honor, true valor is all about. Coming out and smashing a window or sticking up for BLM is not true honor or true valor.
Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Are your deductibles too high? Or are you completely uninsured? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Healthcare Help Desk can help you now when people need help the most. Health insurance laws and rules have changed. If you have Obamacare, are uninsured, or your premiums are too high, call Healthcare Help Desk. It's free. New healthcare plans are available, and you may qualify for dental coverage and lower copays and deductibles. Make the free call now. Top quality coverage at the lowest prices anywhere. You may be paying too much and not even know it. In these troubled times, healthcare is more important than ever. Don't let another day go by without health insurance. Policies are being offered with very low copays and deductibles. So if you're uninsured, underinsured, or paying too much, call Healthcare Help Desk. Learn about your options before it's too late.
Call 800-964-1055. 800-964-1055.
Attention Medicare recipients and anyone turning 65. Medicare has approved new benefits not included with original Medicare and older Medicare Advantage plans. You may not be getting all of the benefits you're entitled to. These new Medicare Advantage plans may have many free new benefits including in-home aids, telephone appointments with your doctors, home-delivered meals and prescriptions. These benefits may be available and it's a free call to enroll. The easiest way to enroll is to call the Medicare Benefits Line, a free non-government service. The new plans may also offer free eyeglasses, free hearing aids, free wellness visits, and gym memberships. Call the Medicare Benefits Line now. It's easy. Find out if you're eligible for new benefits like meal and prescription delivery, in-home aids, and telemedicine. Some plans may have a $0 monthly premium or zero copays for big out-of-pocket savings.
Call 800-691-1655. 800-691-1655.
Medicare Benefits Line is not connected with or endorsed by any government agency or the federal Medicare program.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions Now.
Call 800-447-7570. 800-447-7570.
I won't take some fun with this because that doesn't sound right. But, how about we get a little bit of information that has nothing to do with the stealing of the presidential race. Okay? Let's just throw out a few Veterans Day facts. How's that? Now, I told you, it started as Armistice Day on November 11th, 1919. And it was the first anniversary of the end of World War I. Or at the first anniversary, I should say. Congress passed a resolution in 1926 for an annual observance on November 11th. It became a national holiday in 1938. And unlike Memorial Day, Veterans Day pays tribute to all American veterans, living or dead, but especially gives thanks to the living veterans who served their country. And during war or peacetime. Remember, some go, yeah, you didn't go to war. Well, they could have. Anybody who puts that uniform on knows that at any given point in time, no matter when it is or where you're at, they can be called out to war. So don't belittle anybody who's got that uniform on in any way, shape, manner, or form. Because it's nuts. Many of you won't do what they do, and some of you young people who tune in the show, you know that's true. Now, Veterans Day, we know, occurs on November 11th every year. It's in honor of the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, which signaled the end of World War I. In 1954, Eisenhower officially made the change to name the holiday from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. In 1968, the Uniform Holiday Bill Act was passed by Congress, which moved the celebration of Veterans Day to the fourth Monday in October. It's dumb. Sorry, but it was dumb. It went into effect in 1960 because there's a significance to the date. And it took Gerald Ford to finally put it back to November 11th because he said, hey, look, this is stupid. This is like moving Christmas to the third week or fourth week of December, right? Fourth Friday. That way it's just crazy. And Veterans Day includes veterans of all wars, okay? Great Britain, France, Australia, and Canada also commemorate the veterans of World War I and II. They do it on or near November 11th. Canada calls it Remembrance Day. The Brits have Remembrance Sunday. It's the second Sunday of November. In Europe, Great Britain, and the Commonwealth countries, it is common to observe 2 minutes of silence at 11 every November 11th. I mean, heck, they were the biggest recipient of the benefits of America's involvement in both wars. I mean, they got into this mess twice, not once. You know, people want to put this country down. I think it's amazing. You know why? Because they have no clue of our history. Absolutely none. You know, in World War I, if you do a little bit of your checking, the Brits really didn't want us that involved. They weren't sure we could handle it. We would be strong. We showed them, didn't we? In World War II, massive involvement by the U.S. And I want you to think about something that really ended the war. Remember those pesky little bombs that went off in Japan? I mean, think about the power that we had. This big, bad, nasty country known as these United States. Think about the power that we had. We could have taken pictures of that movie when we have them, sent them to every leader on the planet and said, look, here's the deal. We are now your supreme leader, or else. We don't have to set foot on your turf to take it over. And we didn't do it. You think every other country in the world would have done the same thing? You think there weren't other countries if they had that kind of power? Like Germany at the time? Every Veterans Day and Memorial Day, Arlington National Cemetery holds an annual memorial service. There's over 400,000 people buried there. Most of them served in the military. Now, military men and women who serve to protect the U.S. come from all walks. We know this. They have all walks of life, right? They just, even from all other countries, they came here to be part of this country. There are a little over 18 million living veterans who served during at least one war as of 2018. 9% of veterans are women. 7 million veterans served during the Vietnam War. 3 million veterans have served in support of war on terrorism. Of the 16 million Americans who served during World War II, about 325,000 were still alive in 2020. 2 million vets served during the Korean War. And then as of 2019, the top 3 states with the highest percentage of veterans. Boy, this is interesting. Virginia, Wyoming, got that. Alaska? I mean, forgive me, Alaska. I'm not trying to put you down, but my God, why would you go to the cold? Anyway, we do owe these people a great debt of gratitude. They go out. They fight. They do things that we would never think of doing. Look, I'm no better than you guys are. Right? I've said that a million times. The only difference is my job is I have a microphone in front of my mouth. And I saw a guy, shuffling in to get some lunch the other day, pick up his lunch and go at one of those events. And he had a mask on. He had a hat on. I think it was a World War II vet, frankly. I'm not so sure, though. And no, actually, it was a Vietnam War because it was on the front of his cap. And just simply, I had a mask on, so I couldn't see his smile. But just simply saying to him, hey, dude, thank you. Thank you for your service. And I'm sorry that you're living in a country that doesn't seem to really appreciate you, but we do. But some of us do. So it doesn't take much. Didn't cost me anything but probably about 45 seconds of my day. And I could see his eyes, light up. I guess I could see him smile under the mask. But in all sincerity, take 2 minutes. Say thank you. Won't kill you. Because again, whether you're on the right side or the left side, the reason you have the ability to say and do the things you do in this country is because of that man that's trying to shuffle into the store to get himself a cup of coffee. And don't get teed off that he ain't moving that fast. Because you don't know why he ain't moving that fast. Could be that piece of shrapnel in his hip that he took for you to have the ability to be impatient. 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Got Rick Green coming on after the break. We're going to talk a lot about where the Constitution plays in all of this. What rules were broken. I mean, really, if the Constitution is truly the law of the land, this should be an easy decision.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America, and get this. Did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Yeah. Anyhow, Rick Green joins me, founder of Patriot Academy, and how you doing?
Hey man, I'm doing great despite all the chaos. In fact, I see a lot of silver lining out there. A lot of good news actually coming in even today. And you know, I'm always, I'm an optimistic, as Reagan said, happy warrior. So no matter what the outcome of the election is, I think that's the way we should be. But I truly do see some really good things happening. And one of the best things that's happening is just the interest in the Constitution, as you said. What does the Constitution say about this? How is it going to play into the outcome of this election? What's the proper role of the state legislators under the Constitution? They have incredible power in this particular situation. And then, of course, the 12th Amendment could even come into play in terms of what do you do if nobody gets a majority in the Electoral College. So be glad to answer any of those questions and dive into that wherever you want to take it.
Okay, let's start with the most simple, okay? Just for the simpleton like myself. The Constitution says that there is one day for the election, correct? Just one day.
That is correct. Well,
not 7 months.
The Constitution doesn't. Yeah, the Constitution actually doesn't say. I got to back up on that.
Okay.
The Constitution doesn't say one day. What it does is it leaves it up to the state legislators to decide the time, place, and manner of the election. And then the federal government can alter that when it wants under that provision. It literally gives them the right to overrule for federal elections. And if they do that, and really that's the main thing they've done, is they selected the day, and it is a day that is selected for the election. And yet we've allowed for this early voting and absentee and mail-in ballot to continue to get earlier and earlier. And as Mark Levin says, they want the voting to get earlier and earlier and the counting to get later and later, all of which is ripe for fraud. But the Constitution itself actually allows for the legislature to decide. So it would be constitutional for the legislature to allow as much early voting as they want. And that's Article 1, Section 4, for anybody who wants to go look it up.
You know, I thought these guys were smart when they put this thing together. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you got to remember what they would have never. I think this. They couldn't have a total crystal ball, so they couldn't see everything that could happen. And we used to have one day. I mean, in fact, most states you actually went up there and you voted verbally in front of your friends and family who you were voting for, and that didn't really change in all the states until 1888, which is one of those last elections where they claimed fraud all over the place and showed people buying votes and all kinds of crazy stuff. But anyway, yeah. So they were used to having that one-day election. We've modified that over time. What we need, Joe, we need state legislators that are willing to be tough and that are willing to be smart. We've let the left take over the election process and run over us, even in Republican states, for way too long. And it's time to put our foot down and say we're going to have a system that can be verified, and we're not going to leave all these loopholes open for people to be able to at least look like they're cheating, at least have the appearance of impropriety, even
Rick,
if they're not actually cheating.
Rick,
usually
listen,
when you're doing something in hiding, it's probably no good.
Listen. During the day when I'm getting ready for the show and I'm getting some stuff together, I've been listening. I shoot over I hide and I go over to Vimeo and I grab your vids off of Vimeo and I listen to those during the day. And the thing is, at one point in time, it was live and let live. As Republicans, it seems like after the election, no matter what happens, we go, okay, well, we won, and not enough to fight for, or no. I think what has happened right now, which I'm kind of excited about, and I'm glad Trump is the one at the helm here, is that they have shown their colors. The rash can no longer stay under the skin. They have come to the surface. They are so emboldened. They're doing it right in your face, showing you what they're doing. I mean, seriously, now all of a sudden we see that you've got tens of thousands of votes that have, 2 check marks, one for Senate, one for president. These are all going to be areas. Now, I'm concerned with SCOTUS, I got to tell you. And I think if we can show how many of these votes are truly illegitimate, coming from dead people who don't live in a state, that kind of thing, we have a place to win, don't we?
I believe that, absolutely. Yeah, I think, and frankly, it's hundreds of thousands of votes that only voted for president, not even Senate. I mean, it's insane and statistically impossible and all of that. I mean, it's the computer glitches. There's some evidence coming out in Michigan now that there may be algorithms that were manipulating even the electronic vote. There's all kinds of stuff that's going to come out as a result of this. But you nailed it. It's going to come down to the two decision-making groups are going to be the state legislatures and the U.S. Supreme Court. And the U.S. Supreme Court, if it's going to uphold the rule of law and the Constitution, it will absolutely have to either require Pennsylvania to separate out all ballots that were cast under any scheme adopted by anyone other than the legislature. Let me break that down. The legislature, another provision of the Constitution, Article 2, Section 1, says that the legislature is the one that can appoint electors. They decide how those electors will be appointed. And so if you do anything in that election by some rule of the governor who's trying to make it better for his team, that's not law. You're breaking the law. Only the legislature can set the rules for how the election is going to take place. And that's what the Pennsylvania legislature argued whenever the governor and the Secretary of State decided to change the rules. And the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania went with of course, because they were all Democrats, went with the governor. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court said, no, you better separate those ballots because we got real concerns with what you're doing. Well, it turns out they ended up voting. They ended up counting those ballots. We don't know if they were mixed in. And so the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, is going to have to say, okay, look, if you can separate them, if we can prove without any problem that all of the votes cast under this scheme, which means all the votes that came in after Election Day or any other part of their scheme that wasn't part of the actual election law, those cannot be counted. They're illegal votes. And therefore, if we can separate them, we can still get a fair election here and know who cast the legal votes. But, Joe, here's a problem with even that. More than likely, they're mixed in, and they're not going to be able to do that. But even if they can do that, what do we say to all those people that thought they were voting legally? We're going to disenfranchise, and it's mostly going to be Democrats, but we're disenfranchising them. So I think the Supreme Court has to say, the whole election is tainted. The well has been poisoned. Pennsylvania's election has to either be redone or it goes to the state legislature to appoint the electors based on what they think the actual count was. And that's a Republican legislature and would end up giving those 20 electoral votes to the Republican. But it's not about that as much as it is following the law and punishing those who broke the law. There has to be consequences for these people that ignored the law and thought, we'll just get away with it. Nobody will look. They'll walk away when it's all said and done.
They've been getting away with this for decades. And again, we have soft-shoed it to this point. It's about time we take a stance. Maybe you weren't, but I was surprised that to a degree. It seems like Alito kind of made this move on his own when he heard what was going down. He said, wait a minute, you're not separating these? Are you still not doing this? And you just warmed my heart because I said this the other night. I said it wouldn't be unthinkable that SCOTUS would say, you know what, you've got this thing so screwed up, so messed up, that we're ordering that you redo the election. And another friend of mine said the same thing today when I was talking to him.
And Joe, that is not, I know some of your listeners hear that and they go, what? We would never do that. We just did it last year in North Carolina over a very similar situation. Mail-in ballots, lots of folks were claiming fraud on both Republican and Democrat side. What'd they do? The judge said, that's it. You got to do it again. They redid the election, and everybody had confidence that we actually had a winner in that race, and it wasn't, nobody stole it. So that is not unheard of. I know this is a big deal to do it for a presidential race, but it can be done. In my opinion, it should be done, because if the legislature has to use their other option, which is to actually appoint the electors, themselves, which is what Article 2 allows them to do, and the Supreme Court's already told us that the legislators have that power. In the Bush v. Gore race, they actually said that. Not only do they have that plenary power to do so, they can take it back. Even if they've changed their system to allow popular vote, they can take it back at any time. So that's almost like a nuclear option, I guess you could say, but perfectly constitutional option. They could absolutely do that in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia. Those are all Republican legislatures that could do that. And so I hope they don't have to. I hope that we're just able to get transparency. We're able to get verification of the votes, and we're able to use the legal remedies where those things are not provided, which we know they weren't provided in Detroit. We know they hid the count. We know they hid the count in Georgia. So it's going to be tough to do those things, but there are solutions to all of these problems.
Well, when we come back from the break, I want to talk about dead votes.
Mom, thank God you're going to be okay.
So relieved. But you both should know when my time comes, I have a final expense policy with Senior Care USA.
Is Senior Care USA the life insurance policy that helps loved ones pay for funeral expenses and other debts? Bill and I called to get more information.
Yes, and there's an immediate payout of up to $50,000.
If you're over 50, call Senior Care USA now to learn more about final expense insurance plans.
There's no medical exam, even if you have a pre-existing condition like I do. When I called, the quote was free, and there was no pressure.
I found out that policies start for as little as 35 cents a day. Rates will never increase and coverage won't decrease.
I'm going to call today.
Ask about the free prescription discount card. Oh, I'm so glad you'll be taken care of.
Call 1-800-822-7419. That's 1-800-822-7419.
But is it? It's really just the beginning, right? Have you written a book and want it published but don't know where to start? You're not alone. Page Publishing cuts through the confusion that most new authors face, like copyright protection, barcodes, printing, and digital uploading. We will get your book into bookstores now. We guide you through the publishing maze and help you distribute and sell your work in hard copy and ebook formats. That's right. We will digitize and place your book for sale on Amazon, Apple iBooks, and Google, offering it to millions. Don't waste another minute. Most publishers won't even look at new author submissions, but we're different. We review your book and provide you feedback in about a week. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, our team gets you into bookstores fast.
Call 1-877-461-5033. Does your current bathroom need to be updated immediately? Introducing One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling, the complete and hassle-free way to get the new bathroom of your dreams in as little as 1 day, and for as little as $199 a month. Yes, the experts at One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling will come to you anywhere in the country and show you all the customized options. Now you can have a brand new bathroom in as little as 1 day. Large or small bathrooms, if you want a new bathtub or shower installed, we can do it in as little as 1 day. And if you call right now, you can save $750 off your remodel. We make it easy by offering you financing as low as $199 per month. So for as little as $199 a month, you can finally have the bathroom of your dreams. Call now to schedule your free in-home consultation.
Runs with it. Hey, Rick, before we get rolling, tell people about Patriot Academy and what a constitutional coach is.
Yeah, you bet. ConstitutionCoach.com. If you want to know more about the Constitution, if you want to know how to be a good citizen, you don't have to be an expert. You know, in fact, you can be a coach yourself, even if you don't know anything about any of these things. If you just want to learn to be a good citizen and get some of your friends and family together, we give you all the tools. We give it away for free. I teach the class in Independence Hall where the Constitution was framed. It's fun, it's entertaining, but most importantly, it's inspirational and empowering because it gives you action steps on how to be a better citizen and how to engage your neighbors as well. And so we want as many people as possible to take that class. The good news, like I said earlier, Joe, I mean, people are getting involved in this like never before. We're doing, huge Constitution classes, and people are saying, hey, I'm ready. I'm done with all this. I'm awakened by the chaos of 2020, whether it's the violence in the streets or the COVID crackdowns or now the, potential stealing of the presidential election. These things have motivated me to get involved, and that's a good thing that people are waking up.
Now, listen, you've had, over 11, you're stealing some of my listeners on Monday, by the way. You've got over 11,000 people that have signed up for that class, have you not?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Wow. It's a really good sign. I mean, really good sign. Largest Constitution class in history, and we're going to do another one right after that. We'll see if we get the same number again or more or less, whatever. If we got thousands, we're thrilled. But we're really encouraging people. You got to do the homework at this point. It's not enough to complain. It's not enough to just vote. You got to really become a patriot, and that means investing a little bit of your time, a little bit of your money, and of course your sacred honor, willingness to stand up and speak truth. No matter what they say about you, they might put you in Facebook jail like I'm in right now. But the fascists and the censorship out there.
You said God and country. That's like one of the worst things you could say on
Facebook.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I said I was a friend of Joe Messina. And they said, that's it.
Hey, listen, the other night, sometimes I know you're a busy guy, but I would have loved to have chimed in. The other night, I was watching your video, and you were running around in my old neighborhood. You were in the Old North Church, right? You were running over to Paul Revere's house. And I'm screaming at you, but you're not listening to me. I'm saying, listen, it's a great pizza joint, like 4 doors down from the Old North Church you could have gone. So anyhow, but I mean, don't you get the feel when you're walking through those streets, when you're truly walking in some of the areas there, you can feel the history, can't you?
Oh, no question, man. There's nothing like walking in the footsteps of the founders and really understanding what they went through to launch the nation and why they did so many of the things that they did, including making sure that we had a separation of powers, and including that we did not have a dictator. We didn't have one person making law. I mean, that was a big deal to them. They'd experienced the brunt end of that, and they were students of history. They knew where that would go, and so they gave us a system where the states were guaranteed to be a republic. That's Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, and all of these states that have allowed their governors to make law without the legislature are usurping the Constitution in doing so. Gavin Newsom is one of the worst, of course, and he started it all back on March 16th. But a bunch of these other governors, including my Republican governor of Texas, followed suit, and they are violating the Constitution when they do that. And the same thing with these elections. I mean, it's not just Pennsylvania that broke the law in this. Detroit, Michigan, Texas did. I mean, the governor actually did early voting a week earlier than the law allows for. He had plenty of time to call the legislature into session and let the legislature make that decision, which is who should make it. Pennsylvania had plenty of time. Every state did. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a state that was living under a rock and didn't find out about COVID until October. But I don't think so. I think they all have known and had plenty of time to do this.
I know people don't want to say this, but every governor knew about this back in February, March, April, whatever. They saw where it was going. They saw the direction it was heading in. They could have put things together back then to get ready for this. I was going to invite you over for Thanksgiving dinner, but apparently I can only have 3 families here max for my neighborhood and for 2 hours only. So, I'm Italian. We can't do that.
Well, I know where I rank. If I'm not in your top 3, now that you're not inviting me, I know how it goes. Right. So I told my kids, I got 4 kids. I said, I got to choose which 3 of you I like the most.
That's right. That's exactly right. So I've been saying this for a week now, is that you can't, people go, we need a recount. No, you don't need just a recount. You have to have an audit and a recount if that's the road you're going down, because you would be able to look, and you would be able to take out the dead, I hope, you'd be able to easily take out the dead ballots, or ballots from dead people that don't live in that area. I have friends of mine in L.A. that said they saw signatures that clearly did not match the signature, but they let them go through. So these are things we can easily fight, can we not?
Well, it's going to be a mixed bag, and it's different in each state. You know, a lot of those ballots, they get sent in under some fraudulent name, and then it gets dumped into the mix, and you don't really know which ballot belongs to which person.
Oh,
so,
that's right.
In most cases, you can't just remove it. You poison the well. So that, I think what they're probably going to do in some of these states is they're going to figure out how much fraud, or let's just be nice about it, irregularities and mistakes and whatever, can they identify? And if those were removed, would it change the election? And that's going to probably influence the decision of judges and state legislators. But I'm of the opinion that just because that's all you found on top, if that's what you've identified, if it's that bad, how do you know what else is underneath that you didn't catch? Because more than likely, for every shoplifter that you catch, there were many others that got away with it. Right? That's how it works. And look, I'm just saying, you know, we need transparency. And if there was cheating, then the transparency that was denied may prevent us from finding the cheating. If they were doing things when they sent Republican counters home and they kept counting with just Democrats, when they boarded up the windows, when they kicked Republican counters out, when they continued to count hundreds of thousands of ballots with only the Democrats watching, you may not be cheating, but you are certainly sending the message that something you're doing is wrong, and more importantly, you're breaking the law. And when you break the law, we should make you pay for that. And the more you allow people to break the law, like we've done with the rioting in the streets, what do you get? More of it. You're sending the signal that it's okay. So if we don't press this, if we don't regard, I don't care. It's not about Trump or Biden. It's about the Constitution and the rule of law. That's what we're fighting for right now.
You know, amen. It's about stopping this from going forward, because I truly believe if we allow them to get away with this without pushing back, it's not even that we won't see a Republican, ever see a Republican president again, but this is what's happening right now is true fascism. It's a true sense of fascism. And you've got the left out there screaming, they're going to put it, for all intents and purposes, they're putting an enemies list together. Anybody who's pro-Trump in any way, shape, manner, or form is going to be called out. You know, and when does that happen? Exactly. When has that ever, well, I shouldn't say when has it ever happened, but,
my gosh,
it's not the way it should be.
That should turn people's stomach. It should send chills down their spines. Those are elected officials in America that are calling out for those sorts of things. Those are fascist, communist tactics. It's evil. It is absolutely evil. Now, Joe, I know we only got a couple of minutes here, and we got a shorter time tonight than we normally have, so I got to have some fun here. If even just Pennsylvania gets thrown out, and for sure Pennsylvania and Michigan get thrown out, we may have a situation where nobody gets a majority of the Electoral College. If that happens, it could end up going to the House. That doesn't mean 435 House members vote Nancy Pelosi's president. A lot of people are thinking that. It means that each state votes by delegation. So Republicans have 26 states where they have a majority of the House members, and maybe as many as 29. A guarantee that we have 26. It's possible we'll end up with 29 by the time they finish all the counting of some of these states. But that means that if it goes to the House, like it did, it's not a first-time thing. They did this in 1824. If that happens, then it's very likely Donald Trump wins this election. And there's multiple scenarios where that could end up happening with a tie in the Electoral College. Nobody gets a majority of the Electoral College. It could also be a lot like 1876, where some of these states send two sets of electors. That's exactly what happened in 1876. 3 states did that. Well, if that happens, what are they going to do? Well, they've got some rules on what they might do. The Constitution, though, doesn't really speak to that. And so there's a chance those electors are thrown out. There's a chance there's a legal battle and the Supreme Court has to decide. So there's a lot of crazy scenarios here. The worst case scenario is, actually, no, I think maybe the most fun scenario would be that the president gets elected by those state delegations in the House, and then it goes to the Senate, and somehow by the time all these Senate races are decided, the Democrats have the Senate, and therefore Kamala Harris is vice president. And then, Joe, you and I will have the greatest reality show we could ever watch. We will watch Donald Trump as president, Kamala Harris as vice president. No one will ever leave their TV. It'll be hilarious. No, that's not going to happen. Now that Tillis won in North Carolina, that's not going to happen because we've got 50 at least.
No. And you're right. We are coming up on the end, but I got to tell you something, and I'm going to let my people. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now because I have people calling the show thinking that Crazy Nancy's going to be president. So no, that's not how it works. Well, then what's going to happen is going to go to Congress, and they don't. Every state gets one vote. Will you people please read your Constitution? You know, I mean, you go up to go to PatriotAcademy.com. There's a button there that says Store. S-T-O-R-E, store. Hit the button. He's got all kinds of stuff there to teach you and walk you through this. Take the class. Get informed. I mean, I spend more time, but they heard it from you now, so it's got to be truth, right? Now it's gospel truth because they heard it from Rick Green. And so anyhow, Rick, I always love when I have you on, man, because it really puts a lot of people at ease. And you can, all joking aside, people, go to Patriot Academy. There's great workbooks there. There's DVDs. If some of you I know hate to read, there's DVDs there you can check out. And I can't wait till you start your biblical citizenship class. I mean, I'm like waiting for you to do that one live too. Rick, God bless. Thanks for what you do, man.
Hey, brother. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on. God bless you, man.
All right. Gilbert, your host. Always a pleasure. Got a lot more coming up in the next hour. Barack Laurie joins me. You haven't heard from him in a while. He is like bouncing off the walls to let you know how he feels about this. Be back in a little bit.
Attention homeowners. Do you have a house that's in need of serious repairs? Do you have tenants that never seem to make their monthly payments? How about code violations, past due taxes, or maintenance costs you just can't afford? Then call my friends right now at Quick Cash Offer. They specialize in buying any home, no matter how ugly the situation. Turn that problem property into cash right now. It's just that simple. One call and you can get rid of that home headache forever. They buy the ugliest houses with instant closings, instant cash, and huge savings. Plus, there are no realtor fees, no listing fees, and no repair costs. Just cash in your hands for that painful property. They're buying a few more houses in your neighborhood this month. So take advantage of this cash offer and call Quick Cash Offer now.
855-296-8854. 855-296-8854. That's 855-296-8854.
Listen carefully. If your student loan debt is overwhelming you and things seem hopeless, we've got great news.
If you're still struggling with your student loan debt, there are government programs available that may actually lower your payments by consolidating your federal student loans. Just call us. We'll review your situation and work with you to consolidate your debt. In many cases, depending on your situation, we can lower your monthly payments in half or more. It doesn't matter how much you owe or how far behind you are. Even if you're in default, call us right now to find out how we can lower your payment in half immediately. You can stop the harassing phone calls and the wage garnishments. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call us right now. We can remove your default status, consolidate your federal student loans, lower your payments, and we can do it today. Stop worrying. This is a real solution that can help. So please call us right now.
Call 800-917-8671.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you and all seniors from the Final Expense Insurance Hotline. The average funeral costs about $7,000, even more. And the most government benefits will pay your family is only $255. That leaves your loved ones with a burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay up to $30,000 for your funeral and other final expenses. There's no medical exam and you'll have lifetime coverage. Plus, your rates will never increase and your plan cannot be canceled regardless of your medical condition, as long as you make your premium payments. Get free information right now. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 855-221-7334.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
With 65 offices, you can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services to help demonstrate your idea. InventHelp's exclusive databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas, like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
InventHelp. Call today for free information.
800-880-2937. That's 800-880-2937 now.
You know, I have some of the guests tell us about their turkey memories. I would imagine in a few years, this year's turkey memory is going to be different than any other. Yes. Yeah, you used to see all the grease stains in our masks because in California, when you're eating, the governor says you got to take a bite, put the mask back on. You know, this is proof positive. You look at these Democrat-run states. I know I jumped right in, right? You look at these Democrat-run states, and this is proof positive that they believe the governor is synonymous with dictator. It's not. We have 3 branches of government for a reason. If you want a dictatorship, move to a country. Go to, I love it. All you guys that are socialist, communist, or want a dictatorship type of government, I love it. Go to a country like that. See how it works out for you. The only ones that gain anything in a dictatorship or even in a socialist situation are people that are close to the guy running the thing. There's no equality. You start screaming about equity and equality and rights, you're going to hear a gunshot just before everything goes blank. There's a reality here that people are always afraid to talk about. And because I'm not a black guy, I can't speak about black things, but you know what? I can't say it because I think it's a swear word. It's an Italian thing. But here's the deal. I can talk about any issue that affects a human being. I don't care if you're female, male, black, white, fat, not fat, short, whatever. Deal with it. Isn't that what you're telling us nowadays? Whoopi Goldberg and her infinite wisdom. What a piece of work she is. She's telling us we had to suck it up for 4 years. We had to deal with it. Now you do. You Dems that on the left that are out of control, you dealt with nothing for 4 years. You gave a crap less about this country. And I'm learning more and more from Democrat friends of mine that I thought were sane, now telling me they don't care what cheating, lying has to be done to defeat Donald Trump. It's okay. That's dangerous. Okay, it's dishonest and it's dangerous. And if you're willing to lie about one thing for power, what else are you willing to lie for? So it's gotten to the point now where people close to me, I can't trust because they're not going to tell the truth. I will tell you the truth, whether you like it or not, whether you leave me or not, whether you want to work with me anymore or not. I'm in a very politically charged neighborhood or area or town or city, and many of you are in the same place, and you keep your mouth shut because you want to be able to work with so-and-so, you have to live in that city. Well, you know what's going to happen? You're not going to be able to live in that city. It's not going to happen. Because we want to live more peaceably with our people around here. We've had more progressives take seats because we wouldn't come out and say anything. You need to say stuff. We had people running for our local city council. I live in one of the, I think it's the 8th or the 9th safest city in California. And what do? The loons from the left come up here. They move here from high crime areas to get out of the crime. And then they vote in the same people or the same type of people that got them in those high crime situations, that got them into crappy schools. I'm sorry, but that shows me that there's a mental deficiency there. You're probably very nice people. I know some of you. You are very nice people. But how do you do that? Yeah, it's like grabbing the pot in the oven or whatever you got in the oven with your bare hand, you burn yourself, go, ooh, that's hot. And you put your hand back in there and do it again. You deserve what you get. You've heard me go off on this before. Portland, Seattle, Chicago, New York City, Washington, D.C. You deserve what you voted in. In Baltimore, you voted somebody in that never shows up, has the same mindset that the people that ran that city for 53 years before them. I think her name is Kim Klacik. She comes in. She's got some great ideas. She talks about cleaning the place up. She's willing to fight for you. And what do? The other guy gets in. I don't believe he got in right. I'm not going to say it was out-and-out voter fraud. She's checking into it now because there are many irregularities. Can we stop doing that? George Carlin does a great thing on PTSD versus the word shell shock. And think about how long ago he did these things. And again, if you've got PTSD or what they're referring to as PTSD, I'm sorry. I really, this isn't to make fun of you in the least. But here's the deal. When you're having a conversation, I had an uncle that he was shell shocked. Okay, I mean, we knew it. He was shell shocked. That was it. We knew we were very sensitive to him on certain days of the year. Didn't laugh at him when he dove under the table when he heard a gunshot or a backfire of a truck. but you know what shell shock meant. You understand the significance behind that. What is PTSD? You see what I'm saying? I'm not making fun. If you want to take it that way, then you're not thinking and you're being disingenuous. What does it mean? It doesn't have that same effect to it. And we do that with a lot of things. We want to soften them down so that you feel better. Right? Because you think the other person is it's what is it? We've gone from, I think it was handicapped, right? Then disabled, and then differently abled, and then, all this craziness. Some of you guys don't know this. I'm blind in one eye. I'm disabled. Now, I'm not totally disabled. I can still function. But do you really want me flying your commercial jetliner? Come on. Can we just be real and honest about this? There's a lot of things I can do. It really hasn't slowed me down much. Right? If I had no legs, there was certain things I'm just not going to be able to do. I might be able to work into it depending on what they are, but for the most part, I'm disabled in that area. It's not a terrible thing. Joe Messina, your host, Brock Laurie, joins me after the break. Love this guy. You're going to love him too. We'll be back in a few minutes. So.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Broken AC, $4,600. Water heater, $1,500. Fridge on the fritz, $1,000.
You need home warranty coverage from the Home Service Club.
For around $1 a day. If any of your covered appliances and systems break down, HSC will either repair or replace them.
HSC provides coverage of up to 47 different appliances and systems in your home.
I trust HSC.
HSC has over 15,000 pre-screened, highly rated technicians with the fastest response time in the industry.
They cover everything from ACs, stoves, fridges, pool pumps, and more.
Call the number on your screen now for a free no-obligation quote from a trusted HSC specialist about a home warranty for your entire home, backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now and get 1 month free plus $75 off your first year of coverage. 1 month free and $75 off your first year. The Home Service Club.
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for dental visits. Did you?
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for transportation to my doctor. Did you?
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay to have my prescriptions delivered directly to my home. Did you?
These and more are important benefits some Medicare Advantage plans may give you. So if you're eligible for Medicare, call us right now because you may be eligible to enroll in a plan with amazing additional benefits. Some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for services like these: dental visits, vision coverage, hearing coverage, home delivery of drugs, even gym memberships. Some plans may include no copays for many services and zero deductibles. Don't wait to find out if you're eligible to enroll in a plan that may include some of these wonderful benefits you deserve. Call us right now. The call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation. Make this free call now to learn if you're eligible to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan that may include additional benefits you want. Call us right now.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Oh, there we go. Hey. God. After all this time, Barack, you think I'd learn how to press the right buttons, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, my God. All right, so listen, Barack. Yeah, maybe I should let you take over. You're better at this than I am. So, Brock Laurie's joining me. He's host of the Brock Laurie Show, and there's so much going on. I could probably have him on for 6 hours. We could pull this off. But, Brock, thanks for being with me. And let's, I don't know, too many people are home alone. I was going to mention one of your books, but I'm afraid it might drive them, to the dark side.
Yes. They'll give them very bad ideas. Yes. Oh my gosh, you're so right. But it's true. It definitely is amplifying it. I mean, it's an issue of the day, right? When I predicted that sex robots would be much more prevalent and that people would eventually lose their relationships, I thought that would be a matter of time. By the year 2030, let's say. But here we are with COVID, and it's changing everything in the same way that you've got video conferencing and everything else. That's changing the way we do work. Well, now it's amplifying this situation, and now people who are very lonely just need some company. We all need relationships. So forget about the sex part of it, just the relationship part of it.
Oh yeah,
they want anything. It's like Geppetto with Pinocchio, or better yet, like Tom Hanks, the Tom Hanks character in Castaway with
That's
Wilson,
right.
the volleyball, right? I mean, you'll create a relationship with something as long as it's nearby.
Well, and it's
very
true.
sad.
We're seeing a rise in suicidal thoughts and suicide. Actually, we're seeing a rise in depression. It's not good. And the other thing I found kind of it's kind of dark amusing was that it seemed that marriages were on the rocks. All of a sudden, that person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, you couldn't spend 8 hours a day with, in a short period of time. And you go, my God, this
terrible.
is bad.
Yeah, and it's true for those people who take it that seriously. I mean, when I see people, I do a lot of mountain biking, for example. When I see people on the trails and there's not another person, for another mile, and they're wearing a mask on their own, they're just hiking by themselves. Yes, okay. I think. Do we have any hope in this state at least? I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. Who's he worried about infecting himself? I mean, how does it work? Do you understand how viruses work, my friend?
You're giving us a lot of credit. I mean, these are the same people that voted in Obama twice, but we'll leave it there. But you're right. You see somebody in their car with a mask on driving down the road. They're all alone in the car. And you say, my God, are you afraid you're going to give it to yourself? I mean, I'm really trying to understand this. So that's why I'm a little crazy when I hear about what's going on out there. And again, here, I was joking with you during the break. People don't realize it. But what is it now? You can only have 3 families gather for the holidays, and only for 2 hours. And then if you have any more people than that, you're supposed to start tracking them, whatever the heck that means. This is like fascism at its finest, isn't it?
Right. Well, there are more than enough useful idiots who will be happy to comply and do exactly that. I mean, but what a farcical narrative, right? The notion that we're going to worry that the gendarmes, the police are going to come raiding our house because we have a member of a 4th family joining us, and they're all there ready to take it, to take us down. Yes, you know what, police, you have enough worries right now to deal with the rise in crime and riots and such like that. But now you want to put all your focus on whether or not there is a 4th family together and they're spending more than 2 hours together. How absurd is this? And in the meantime, we have a new law in California that effectively says that if you shoplift from any store, not just a grocery store, but any store, with something of less than $950 in value, well, effectively it's not a crime. Okay? that they're willing to deal with. But whether or not you have 4 families, well, that's another story. 2 hours and 10 minutes, and you'll be arrested? What's the deal here? But look, the thing is that fascism doesn't exist unless we allow fascism to exist.
Very true.
We have to remember that. And that's what happened in Germany, and that's what might happen here. And we have to be very concerned. Now with Joe Biden and this election crisis that we're dealing with, and I'm sure that's what you want to talk about.
Yep.
It's a question of, are we going to stand up? Because if we don't stand up now, then forever we will have this rise up again and again, to the point where we'll wonder whether we'll ever have a Republican or any serious conservative running for office again, let alone be voted for in office. We might have the CRI party like we have in Mexico.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you. I've seen it happen in you're familiar with my area. In my little area up here, we saw the progressives take many seats because we got too comfortable, we got too complacent. You and I have talked about this in the past. We want to be gentlemen, we want to fight properly, and no. This is a street fight at this point, and the Democrats are very good at it. They've been doing it for decades. And if you look around you, again, look at what they're using. Look at the terminologies they're using to get into some of the elementary schools. They want your kids to be safe. They're going to keep your kids safe and make sure, this is this is craziness, the way this is being sold. And we sit back, and I mean the collective, we, not you and I, but we sit back and we let this happen because we don't want anybody to feel bad. What I'm getting excited about, though, is you're seeing Democrats now come forward with these affidavits in these different towns and cities about the election fraud that's taken place. This is a good thing, is it not?
It's fantastic. It's the way it should be. And as I have tweeted and written about and such, you as a Democrat, even if you like Joe Biden, even if you hate Donald Trump for that matter, your love of democracy and free and fair election should trump, pardon the pun, should trump your hatred of Trump. By all means, right? I mean, you don't like the fact that your man didn't get voted in. I get that. But the process is far more important. Not only because it might happen to you in the future, but you really do want this notion of tug and pull in our society. We do not want the Democrats to be running this country for the next 50 years. Was that what your vision is, sir?
Listen, we got to go quick break, but when we come back, I want to dive into that a little bit more. I want to dive in a little bit more about how the Democrats are feeling about what's going on, what's happening. I've been shocked from some of my close, what I thought were sane Democrat friends, and I found out different. Anyway, be back in a few minutes.
Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Are your deductibles too high? Or are you completely uninsured? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Healthcare Help Desk can help you now when people need help the most. Health insurance laws and rules have changed. If you have Obamacare, are uninsured, or your premiums are too high, call Healthcare Help Desk. It's free. New healthcare plans are available, and you may qualify for dental coverage and lower copays and deductibles. Make the free call now. Top quality coverage at the lowest prices anywhere. You may be paying too much and not even know it. In these troubled times, healthcare is more important than ever. Don't let another day go by without health insurance. Policies are being offered with very low copays and deductibles. So if you're uninsured, underinsured, or paying too much, call Healthcare Help Desk. Learn about your options before it's too late.
Call 800-964-1055. 800-964-1055.
Attention Medicare recipients and anyone turning 65. Medicare has approved new benefits not included with original Medicare and older Medicare Advantage plans. You may not be getting all of the benefits you're entitled to. These new Medicare Advantage plans may have many free new benefits including in-home aids, telephone appointments with your doctors, home-delivered meals and prescriptions. These benefits may be available and it's a free call to enroll. The easiest way to enroll is to call the Medicare Benefits Line, a free non-government service. The new plans may also offer free eyeglasses, free hearing aids, free wellness visits, and gym memberships. Call the Medicare Benefits Line now. It's easy. Find out if you're eligible for new benefits like meal and prescription delivery, in-home aids, and telemedicine. Some plans may have a $0 monthly premium or zero copays for big out-of-pocket savings.
Call 800-691-1655. 800-691-1655.
Medicare Benefits Line is not connected with or endorsed by any government agency or the federal Medicare program.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions Now.
Call 800-447-7570. 800-447-7570.
Joins me, and he's host of his own show called The Brock Laurie Show. One of his books, Rise of the Sex Machines, How Culture and Technology Are Changing Relationships Forever. This lockdown is the dream of those people that love those machines.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Here's what it's a dream for. It's a dream for Zoom and other, internet meeting-based companies. Yeah. It's a dream for bike shops because everyone wants to go biking now. It's a dream for pizza delivery companies. And Uber and Uber Eats and sex robots manufacturers. Those groups.
All right. Oh God! But I mean, seriously, and you know, again, Atheism Kills, another great book of yours, and I know that, here, I'm going to blow this, I know I am. Is your second book out yet on that?
Yes, it is just about to come out. I'm finishing up. My editor is making last looks in on that, but I'm going to send you a prefab on that.
Oh, cool.
I think you'll like it quite a bit, Joe. So I'd love your input as well. But it's Atheism Destroys, that's the name of it. And where previously I talked about how atheism kills, literally, any government enterprise that was atheist killed in the millions. This one, I'm talking about how atheism destroys everything that we value, whether it's family, whether it's free speech or justice or relationships, generally speaking. I show how it destroys that. And it also destroys courage. So I even have a year, the last chapter is called The Year of Fear, 2020. And I talk a lot about that. So I ended up having to delay my book because I had to see how 2020 was wrapping up. And sure enough, everything that we saw this past year in 2020 can be seen through the lens of godlessness. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. If we truly believed and loved God and made God the center of our civilization, we would not have run in panic as we have with this COVID crisis. We would not have dealt at all the way we're dealing with it. There's a madness that's taken over. It makes no sense at all. God does not want us to shelter at home and not be with other people. He wants us to be with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the way we responded to the riots, Black Lives Matter, and how we cowered in fear. This is not the way we respond to riots. We don't give in. You have to fight evil. And Black Lives Matter, the organization, and Antifa, and all those that are allied with them, they're evil. And they are seeking the destruction of civilization, defund the police and so forth. We have to fight that. But unless you have God in your life, you cannot have the strength to fight back.
No,
that was a major part of my book. Yeah.
Well, but you're hit on something here that we have seen now for, I don't know, maybe a couple of decades go away, where is the young people are not being taught, not truly being taught the value or the understanding of God, the reality of God, if you would. The government is God. They're your sufficiency. Matter of fact, they're more your sufficiency than your parents are, because the government will make sure that you get an education and a place to stay and food and an Obama phone. You know where I'm going with this. And that is truly at the core of atheism, isn't it? There is no God. There's me. We'll take care of you. Where are they turning to?
Yeah, that's so true.
Right?
They have nothing to turn to, and this is why, going back to what we were talking about, joking around with people with masks, the reason why they do this, Joe, is because they love it. They love wearing the mask. To them, they feel like they are doing something. Now, suddenly in their lives, they have purpose. They are going to fight this virus together, and we all are in it together. You see, but before the COVID, they had nothing going on in their lives. At least without God, they had nothing. And they just didn't know where they were. And all of a sudden, now they have to deal with it. So I think they're going to have a really a tough time once they get out of COVID, when they don't have any, there's no masks to wear anymore. Right? What do they do? They have to look at each other, and now they have to relate to each other, and have to actually, produce in a job or otherwise to be a good parent. No, they don't have to do that now. Now, just wear a mask, and you're a great human being. You see how it works?
I love this stuff, because you're so right about it. Look, let's come back to the election and the what's going on, the voter fraud. Just put it right out there. And again, you talk about it comes back to your atheism book. But here's the deal: you think about it, they're sitting there, and their cause, their religious, their higher power is the Democrat Party. Do anything to make sure that the Democrats win, because they're what's best for us. But the thing that warms my heart a bit is this, what is there, 11,000 affidavits now out there, and many of them are Democrats that came forward and said, look, this is too much for me. This is not what I thought this was, and that makes me feel good. But back to my original point, this is all under atheism for all intents and purposes, right? I mean, they want the power. Go for it.
That's exactly right. When you have no God in your life, the more you expect to give it to your government, and it has to be that way. I almost don't blame them, but the less you have of God, the more you expect to put it to government, and so that's why they don't understand us. They think we're crazy. How could you? We're reckless. We Republicans, we conservatives in particular. How could you possibly not let a government take over your lives? You want chaos. We're the ones that know that, in fact, they're the ones who are advancing chaos, whether they realize it or not. But godlessness is a main feature of this. Look, and I want to say this, Joe, that, everything that we saw in this season, this 2020 season, really starting as late as 2019, the economy was doing so well. Trump was untouchable.
Yep.
Untouchable. And I remember speaking to one of my best friends who was a liberal, and I said, I don't think that Trump could possibly lose re-election. The only thing I can imagine is some sort of devastating news about some sort of terrible scandal, like God forbid, that he's engaging with little boys, little girls. That would be horrific. In which case, I would not vote for him, right?
Right.
But and then the only other thing I can imagine is a complete meltdown of the economy, which of course won't happen. and then 2 months later, complete meltdown of the economy, right? So, but even so, Joe, even so, look what happened. They thought that by letting the COVID response take over and just destroy our economy for the sake of COVID, that the average American would blame Trump for that and say, who's at the White House? Oh, Trump is, and we have a terrible economy. Let's kick him out. Likewise with the riots. Here's all these terrible riots, all this looting. Who's in the White House? Oh, let's kick him out. And none of those things worked. They thought, they kept on saying out the message, thinking and trying to convince people that that's what your real concern is. And then, of course, the mail-in ballots, they had to do that. And it just wasn't working. All their polling was also a lie. And then, of course, the last hurrah for them was election night, in which case, once again, they saw that Trump was winning. And they had to do something. And that's what happened with the Georgia pipe bursting. And suddenly they said, oh, we can't count them right now. That was a signal. And all the other battleground states picked up that signal. And they stopped counting too.
Yep.
And then everyone knows the rest of the story of what happened. But we're going to win this at the end of the day. I'm not worried about that. I mean, I'm always watching the news and such, but I'm quite confident that we will win re-election. At the same time, I'm so interested in seeing how wrong the Democrats were. Not that they were negligent in their polling. They were purposefully trying to elicit a complete different mantra to the average American. Absolutely.
Agreed.
Everything about them were wrong. And one of the fascinating things, not only, Joe, were they wrong about who would win and by how much they would win in every election imaginable, but they were also wrong about what issues were allegedly important to the average American voter.
Yep.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
They said that the most important thing is COVID response, COVID. And then, race relations. And so I think like number 4 was the economy. And I thought, BS. No way. That is not the case whatsoever.
All right.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America, and get this. Did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Let's get back to my guest. I love when I have this guy on. Brock Lurie joins me as he does from time to time. Always appreciate it. And Brock, you've got your own show, your podcast. Tell people how to get your books and hear your show and that kind of thing.
Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, my show is on Sundays on KRLA, AM 870. Sundays at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And there's also some repeats from time to time. About that, I also write quite a bit.
They're not. I gotta interrupt you. They are not old shows. Stop that. They are classics.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
And you can also get my books on Amazon. Atheism Kills became a runaway bestseller. I was very pleasantly surprised. Didn't know that it would take off that well, but people need to hear the message that atheism is truly the most destructive force in all of our civilization. There's nothing else that comes close to atheism, / godlessness. People say, oh, wait a minute, what about fascism? What about communism? No. Fascism and communism had atheism as their central core ingredient. That's the thing that made it so deadly. So let's make it clear. It's like the venom of a snake. It's not the snake that makes it deadly. It's the venom, right?
Yep.
It's the chemical of arsenic that makes any particular poison poisonous. It's not just the liquid. It's the same thing with atheism. If we live in a world with godlessness, and increasingly we are, you're going to see much more dysfunction throughout our world. And you're going to see people like what we're seeing now in the election crisis, where they feel it's totally acceptable to cheat. That whatever it needs to be done to get your man into power, that's what you do. But if you love God, if God is part of your center in all your life and all your being, then you would never do what they are doing now. You would know that God is looking. But when you don't have that, democracy can't work. So I'm not surprised that this is eventually happening, and I expect it to be tried time and time again. But I called it out when the Norm Coleman stuff happened way back in the first decade of the 21st century, and I said they're going to be trying this over and over again because it worked. And nobody called them out on it.
That's right.
So, and if we don't call them out now, this is our last hurrah. If we don't do it now, we can see it again and again and again.
I agree.
So,
I tell people we need to start. Look, we need to start street fighting with these people, but not be violent. All right, I'm not advocating that, and I know you don't either. But the days of the gentlemanly card game are over, and they need to be over.
Yeah.
Growing up in Boston, in the streets of Boston, you got the proper people, and then you got the the guys like me when I was younger, and people don't get it. They see kindness as a sign of weakness. And I want to go back to something you said a few minutes ago, though, when we talk about God and atheism and what have you. Even on you and I are, for all intents and purposes, we're on secular stations all over the place. We're not on godly stations, if you would. But the best response I get is the nights or the segments or the hours that we do on God stories about where God is in all of this and how you can depend on God. And they don't like that because all of a sudden there's a higher power that they can't fight back with, which is why you can't come together. You can't look at New York. Look at the Jewish community in New York. They're being threatened. It's like World War II Germany, for God's sakes, in New York. Am I wrong here?
You're 100% right. The number one reason why people fight and are so vociferous against God, here it is. Because a world with God means that they have to be held accountable for what they do today. And they can't do that. They want their orgies, they want their gluttonies, they want the gossip, they even want to kill, they want to steal, and they don't want to be judged for it. So, I mean, I love it when people say that we believers, that we just kind of are blinding ourselves to reality, and though the atheists are ones who work really hard and they roll up their sleeves because they're with science and all that. And I say, you got it exactly backwards. You guys just don't want the accountability. Are you kidding? I mean, we go to church or we go to synagogue every week, and we have to follow all these rules and make sure we don't do this, we don't do that. And we're the lazy ones? Really? It's the funniest thing. So, but that's what you see. I mean, I guarantee you, all the people you and I know, we talked about this before on your show, Joe, that everyone who rioted during the Black Lives Matter protests and the riots otherwise, right? Not one of them went to church. Can we be frank here? Right?
Yes.
Everyone knows that.
Yep.
You grab anybody who was actually looting, actually committing arson, actually killing anybody, and then you interview them and say, how often do you go to church? They'll give you this blank look, like what's a church? Of course. So this is what we're saying. And the more we had God back into the equation, the healthier our society would be. But sadly, something happened in the early 1900s where it was invoked that Thomas Jefferson said that church and state should always be separate. And it's just a total misreading of what he said.
That's right.
But that became the mantra. And isn't that a glorious thing that we should not have any reference to God whatsoever? As if that was a good thing. On the contrary, it's exactly the opposite of what the Founding Fathers believed.
Yep.
Exactly the opposite. And so we're seeing the consequences of that.
Yeah.
Now, one more point to what you just said, Joe, about you made a very interesting comment about being gentlemanly and such. I've gotten to the point now that the notion of compromising with today's Democrats, not the Democrats of the 70s and 80s, but today's Democrats, is like us compromising with the Chinese. Or when Nixon goes to China, right? I mean, why would you compromise? I mean, when Nixon went to China in the 1970s, hence the expression "only Nixon can go to China." When he went to China, the notion was, well, let's open up our economies, and that'll be great for China. We'll even give them favored nation status, and wonderful things will arise, and the moon will be in the 7th house, and Jupiter will align with Mars, and everything's great. But of course, China still became the horrific dictatorship that it is. It's a monstrous enterprise even today, concentration camps and so forth. And yet we went forward with this. But if you were to say, hey, you know what, the Nazi regime, let's do business with them. Let's have trade relations. You would say that's absurd. These guys are monsters. But why are the Chinese any worse? Why was this former Soviet Union any worse? Why is Cuba any worse? And it is. It's just as bad.
Well, we think we can be above all that.
The Democrats have become, we're supposed to be, but the Democrats are now advancing policies that are similar to the Chinese, that are similar to the Cubans and the North Koreans, and for that matter, the Iranians. I mean, everything about their mantra is so horrifically evil. And if it's not evil in and of itself, then it's naively destructive to the country. We have to simply say no every single time. Everything they propose, we got to say no. We got to fight them that way.
I am 100% in agreement. Look at, one of the things you hit on, and I see it in my position as an elected official, our kids are searching. I mean, think about what's going on right now. They've been separated from people that they love and they trust, that they hung out with all day at school. Yeah. I mean, we could do a whole hour on public school, but in this case, our Christian kids, our Jewish kids, were they taught about God being their sufficiency? Their inner peace, their inner strength comes from God. It doesn't come from your friends at school or your school teacher or anybody on those lines. We have taken this away from them. So they really have no strength to deal with. Now they're stuck at home. It's a real sad thing to see. Do you agree? We got about a minute and a half.
Right. Oh, yeah. And they're angry. And I did a whole show on this, is that the reason why all these people are out there is not because they want money or that they want to loot. It's because they're angry. And what are they angry about? Nobody has given them purpose. That's what they're angry about. They expect the government or somebody to give them purpose. But that's why we joke, you and I, that there's not a single churchgoer there, not a synagogue goer there, because they would find their purpose in synagogue or church. It would be anathema to them. So that's why that explains everything you're seeing. And we need more God. And I say this as a fact, not as a spiritual lifting up. I'm not trying to sermonize here. It's a fact that God is the reason why we have any civilization in the first instance.
I agree.
And so we need to bring him back. That's it.
No.
Otherwise, you'll see the decay. Atheism destroys. It's as simple as that.
You know, again, here's a Christian guy and a Jewish guy, and we're agreeing that we need to bring it back to God. And if you look at our founding fathers and where they were at, and the least religious man, Benjamin Franklin, when they were floundering as to putting everything together, he finally said, "We have forgot the providence we got from the Almighty. We need to turn back to Him," and that's today. We need to turn back to Him. Quick, tell people where they can get your show.
Okay. You bet. At KRLA, AM 870, Sundays 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And, of course, my book, Atheism Kills and Rise of the Sex Machines on Amazon.com.
Cool. Very cool. Hey, people, next hour, Horace Cooper joins us. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Mom, thank God you're going to be okay.
So relieved. But you both should know when my time comes, I have a final expense policy with Senior Care USA.
Is Senior Care USA the life insurance policy that helps loved ones pay for funeral expenses and other debts? Bill and I called to get more information.
Yes, and there's an immediate payout of up to $50,000.
If you're over 50, call Senior Care USA now to learn more about final expense insurance plans.
There's no medical exam, even if you have a pre-existing condition like I do. But when I called, the quote was free, and there was no pressure.
I found out that policies start for as little as 35 cents a day. Rates will never increase and coverage won't decrease.
I'm going to call today.
Ask about the free prescription discount card. Oh, I'm so glad you'll be taken care of.
Call 1-800-822-7419. That's 1-800-822-7419.
But is it? It's really just the beginning, right? Have you written a book and want it published but don't know where to start? You're not alone. Page Publishing cuts through the confusion that most new authors face, like copyright protection, barcodes, printing, and digital uploading. We will get your book into bookstores now. We guide you through the publishing maze and help you distribute and sell your work in hard copy and ebook formats. That's right. We will digitize and place your book for sale on Amazon, Apple iBooks, and Google, offering it to millions. Don't waste another minute. Most publishers won't even look at new author submissions, but we're different. We review your book and provide you feedback in about a week. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, our team gets you into bookstores fast.
Call 1-877-461-5033.
Does your current bathroom need to be updated immediately? Introducing One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling, the complete and hassle-free way to get the new bathroom of your dreams in as little as 1 day and for as little as $199 a month. Yes, the experts at One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling will come to you anywhere in the country and show you all the customized options. Now you can have a brand new bathroom in as little as 1 day. Large or small bathrooms, if you want a new bathtub or shower installed, we can do it in as little as 1 day. And if you call right now, you can save $750 off your remodel. We make it easy by offering you financing as low as $199 per month. So for as little as $199 a month, you can finally have the bathroom of your dreams. Call now to schedule your free in-home consultation.
This guy on with me, and you know, you hear commentators all the time, and they only pull on people that they totally agree with or on their side or what have you. And I used to love it in the old days of Fox where they didn't do that. But you know, here's a guy that will disagree with you if you need to, And I love having him on. All right, we're back at it again. One of my favorite guests to have on the show, and I do mean that sincerely because he's got the inside. And I would say you bring some of these people on, they speak at a level you just don't understand. They have the inside information, but when I bring Horace on with us, it's just you get the real info for him, and that's what we're all about on the show. Horace Cooper is a senior fellow with the National Center for Public Policy Research, co-chairman of the Project 21 National Advisory Board, the legal commentator. He also has a book called How Trump is Making Black America Great. It'd be great if truly a good portion of Black America could see that. Black American leaders could see that. Don't you think, Horace?
Well, that would be true if the leaders could. I think increasingly a large number of Black Americans are. And if we overcome what I am calling the race con about what happened in these urban precincts, I think what we will end up with is a recognition that many Black Americans are just as excited and just as thrilled to join in with working class Americans, middle class Americans, people who love liberty, people who support the Second Amendment, and people who recognize that the free market policies of Donald Trump aren't just good for a few people, but are in fact essential for happiness and success in America today.
I was really disappointed that, what's her name, Kim Klacik didn't do as well in Buffalo, but that shows you the entrenchment of the party, doesn't it?
Well, it does. However, there's an interesting update on that front, and is that she has enough campaign funds left over. The American people generously supported her campaign, and she is pursuing an investigation into some of the anomalies that happened. Now, you said Buffalo, but it's actually Baltimore.
And they're the same, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But there are some of the same types of irregularities that we were seeing in other places. It will be quite interesting if she is able to successfully force some opening of the process and create more transparency so that we can understand how such a large number of people who some aren't alive, some are incapacitated, ended up showing up to vote, and they voted overwhelmingly for Joe Biden. I've said this about outreach to the dead for some time. We probably just need a person at the RNC or in the conservative movement or someplace that will just focus 100% of their time on making the dead, people who are no longer here, understand that our vision and our policies are not hurtful to dead people. I mean, if we could just get 10%, let's just start with a goal, 10% of people who are no longer alive, getting them to start voting for the conservative candidate would be a healthy change and beneficial for America.
Yeah, I'm going to get into that with you in a minute. It's like all across the country, not just dead people, people who don't live there. We've got one district where we had people over 150 years old voting, and I'm thinking, I want to move there. There's something in the soil, there's something in the air or the water, and I wouldn't mind living there myself. If you know what I'm saying. It's just crazy. But back to Baltimore for just 1 second. Is her challenger didn't really show up to anything. The media beat on her big time, and for what? So they could have more years of the same garbage?
No, absolutely. You had the standard inner city hustle take place. This is our selected guy. He's going to go to Washington, and we're going to continue doing the same thing that we've been doing. Will your schools improve? No. Will your housing situation improve? No. Will your job situation improve? No. But let's be sure, if a felon attacks an old lady as she's coming out of the pharmacy, and he gets injured in any way by law enforcement, that urban hustler is going to make sure he leads the march. And that's what we can promise you if you continue going down the path. And she said, why don't we go down the path of independence? Why don't we go down the path of you determining your own destiny? And I believe, we already know this with the erroneous results. We know that 12% of Black America supported Donald Trump. That's a 25% increase. I believe that once the so-called race con is revealed and removed, that those actual numbers will end up being closer to 18%. Now, are you going to ask me why I call it the race con?
Go ahead.
I call it the race con because the Bernie bros, the progressives who planned this scheme, and trust me, this effort to defraud the American people of their liberty and freedom is not something that happened spontaneously, is not accidental. It's not like we saw all the rallies that weren't Trump-centric, where people got in their cars, got in their boats, set up in parking lots, went on overpasses. That was spontaneous. What we saw on late election night and overnight was not something that was spontaneous. No. That was something planned, and the whole scheme is to create the impression with the rest of America that it was poor black people who voted at 80, 90, and even 150% turnout rates in these precincts against Donald Trump. That's the race con. The people who did this are letting America think that it was poor black people that did it, when in this election we already know Donald Trump got the highest number and percentage of non-white votes of any Republican candidate running since 1960. And as I said, when the race con is ultimately exposed, we'll see what the real number is, and it probably is the highest in 125 years.
Oh, I agree.
And I'm not boasting when I tell you that.
No, listen, I agree with you, and I've been watching it roll out, and you know, re-looking at these votes and what's going on in many of the cities. Let me reset here for a second. You know, like I was with him, with Morris, listen to me, I'm sorry. With Horace, I've had him on the show plenty of times, and the beauty is again, he doesn't play any games. There's no game. I mean, he truly believes what's going on, and he's willing to call it out. So 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Appreciate the time you're spending with us.
Attention homeowners. Do you have a house that's in need of serious repairs? Do you have tenants that never seem to make their monthly payments? How about code violations, past due taxes, or maintenance costs you just can't afford? Then call my friends right now at Quick Cash Offer. They specialize in buying any home, no matter how ugly the situation. Turn that problem property into cash right now. It's just that simple. One call and you can get rid of that home headache forever. They buy the ugliest houses with instant closings, instant cash, and huge savings. Plus, there are no realtor fees, no listing fees, and no repair costs. Just cash in your hands for that painful property. They're buying a few more houses in your neighborhood this month. So take advantage of this cash offer and call Quick Cash Offer now.
855-296-8854. 855-296-8854. That's 855-296-8854.
Listen carefully. If your student loan debt is overwhelming you and things seem hopeless, we've got great news.
If you're still struggling with your student loan debt, there are government programs available that may actually lower your payments by consolidating your federal student loans. Just call us. We'll review your situation and work with you to consolidate your debt. In many cases, depending on your situation, we can lower your monthly payments in half or more. It doesn't matter how much you owe or how far behind you are. Even if you're in default, call us right now to find out how we can lower your payment in half immediately. You can stop the harassing phone calls and the wage garnishments. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call us right now. We can remove your default status, consolidate your federal student loans, lower your payments, and we can do it today. Stop worrying. This is a real solution that can help. So please call us right now.
Call 800-917-8671.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you and all seniors from the Final Expense Insurance Hotline. The average funeral costs about $7,000, even more. And the most government benefits will pay your family is only $255. That leaves your loved ones with a burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay up to $30,000 for your funeral and other final expenses. There's no medical exam and you'll have lifetime coverage. Plus, your rates will never increase and your plan cannot be canceled regardless of your medical condition, as long as you make your premium payments. Get free information right now. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 855-221-7334.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
With 65 offices, you can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services to help demonstrate your idea. InventHelp's exclusive databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas, like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
InventHelp. Call today for free information.
800-880-2937. That's 800-880-2937 now.
I always enjoy when I have this fellow on with me. Horace Cooper's with me. He's a senior fellow with the National Center for Public Policy Research, also the co-chairman of the Project 21 National Advisory Board and legal commentator. His book, How Trump is Making Black America Great. You're seeing it play out right now, in the election cycle. And the sad part about all this, again, here's what I'm concerned about. Maybe you're not, Horace, I don't know, but I'm concerned that people are going to get discouraged. I'm concerned that blacks, Hispanics, and, you saw that walk-away movement growing like crazy. Young people were involved in that. Gay, lesbian groups were involved in it. And they're sitting back. I hope they're not going to sit back and say, see, what did I tell you? We did all that work. We voted. We came out. And it still didn't help. They're going to steal what they want to steal. Are you concerned about that at all?
Well, apparently the brazen level of theft is a function not of their willingness to steal. It's bad if you go to a store and you pickpocket several items. It's crazy when you fill up your shopping cart with everything and then think you're going to be able to just walk right out of the door. I know it's been tried, but those people actually always get caught. What we saw on election day and then what we're seeing now, we saw a red wave and we're seeing now a blue mist. And that mist is going to burn off. And when that mist burns off, you'll have to ask yourself a question. How could the president run and have huge coattails, one of the largest increase in the House of Representatives that we have seen in quite some time, in almost 10 years? What we see is the conservatives and Republicans control more state houses, in fact, picked up 3 chambers, picked up an additional governor. In every county, we saw numbers go up, more black Americans, more white suburban women. Every category that we were supposed to be looking at, he set a new record with his support by Muslims, and yet we're supposed to believe that wasn't sufficient to win. Whereas Mr. Biden, who apparently lost in every category except for what happened in Colorado, we're supposed to believe that his effort in losing all these other seats, all these other races, was in fact a sign of the amazing accomplishment and endorsement of him and his agenda. Those things just simply don't add up. Eventually, the legal cases involved in these disputes are going to require some discovery. They're going to require answers to legal questions, as we found out in Bush v. Gore. You, under the Constitution, may not, in the same state, treat one set of voters one way and treat in the same state, in a different county, a set of voters in a different way. Whatever the standard is supposed to be, that standard is supposed to stay the same. If you're allowing people to cure ballots in one county, you're supposed to allow people to cure ballots in another county. And now in Pennsylvania, as you know, who ultimately sets the rules? The Constitution says it's the state legislature. The state Supreme Court of Pennsylvania says any subsidiary within Pennsylvania counts as the state legislature. That's going to be a constitutional question, and it's really great. It's really great to have an originalist sitting on the court and who's going to be able to give us an answer to that important question.
Horace, I know I'm wandering a little bit here, but I want to. Were you surprised when Alito, somewhat on his own, without the others behind him, said, "Hey, look, Pennsylvania, stop. This is just wrong. Just stop. Once you separate."
So,
go ahead.
There was a tacit agreement when this case initially went before the Supreme Court, where Chief Justice Roberts said, we don't need to decide this right now, and we don't need to issue a directive. Will you guys agree that we'll separate out these ballots, keep them separate, not add them to the counting, so that we can opine on this at a future date if it is relevant? Now, he was hoping that there would be such a landslide victory for one or the other. I don't know what anyone wants to guess his thought was, and that they would never have to come back to it. What Alito did was say, wait a second, what do you mean you haven't separated those ballots? I ride the circuit. Each justice rides one of the circuits. I ride the circuit for this federal court system, and I, in my capacity, am going to see to it that what you agreed to do, and now we're acting as if since it wasn't an order that you don't have to, well, it's now an order. And that is now going to create a problem for the state of Pennsylvania.
What's going to happen? You do disenfranchise, and again, provided illegal votes, you do disenfranchise all those people that were told, don't rush, no hurry, just get it to us when you can, because we're going to be counting ballots well into the next 3-4. Like in California, I mean, they have ballots that they're counting that came in after Election Day. And the governor who signed the edict here said it's fine, it's okay, it's all good. So we're going to have a real mess across this country with the voting, aren't we?
Well, we are, but as I said, the fundamental question is, who makes the law with regard to election policy in America? Our Constitution, Article 1, Section 4, says that it is presumptively the responsibility of the state legislature, and if there is a disagreement with that, only Congress may countermand that policy, and they may do so only with regard to the federal aspects of elections. Just really briefly, let me just explain that we had a case where a state said, we want term limits. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to put on the ballot when you run whether or not you are running longer than the term limits that our state has set for federal office holders. And that ended up having to go to the Supreme Court, where they ultimately decided that the state couldn't regulate federal candidates, but they could, in fact, regulate state candidates.
Right.
In this particular case, we don't have a countermand, we don't have a restriction on federal races, and we don't have any ruling saying that they are protecting federal elections. What we have is a ruling by the state Supreme Court in Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, and in Michigan, arguing in some way of interpreting state law in a manner that is contrary to what the legislature has explicitly done. That, I think, is going to lead to a significant problem, but also some of the other, for those who think that this race is over. That is going to lead to significant issues. With the degree to which there are such a large number of ballots that are becoming suspect, you start to get the idea that a much more dramatic remedy is in order. Most Americans haven't seen a case where a court orders a second election. Most Americans haven't seen a case where a court orders the removal of certain ballots. But in a case where we have such systemic misrepresentation and allegations of fraud, you may see a remedy of that nature.
Let me interrupt you, because you're making me feel good, and I'll tell you why. I don't have a law degree, and I said this the other night. I said, I wouldn't be surprised with everything going on in a few of these states with the Supreme Court, and I don't know if they can do this, but if the Supreme Court just said, you know what, you guys have screwed this up so bad that we're gonna order a second election.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Broken AC, $4,600. Water heater, $1,500. Fridge on the fritz, $1,000. You need home warranty coverage from the Home Service Club for around $1 a day. If any of your covered appliances and systems break down, HSC will either repair or replace them.
HSC provides coverage of up to 47 different appliances and systems in your home.
I trust HSC.
HSC has over 15,000 pre-screened, highly rated technicians with the fastest response time in the industry. They cover everything from ACs, stoves, fridges, pool pumps, and more. Call the number on your screen now for a free no-obligation quote from a trusted HSC specialist about a home warranty for your entire home, backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now and get 1 month free plus $75 off your first year of coverage. 1 month free and $75 off your first year. The Home Service Club.
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for dental visits. Did you?
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for transportation to my doctor. Did you?
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay to have my prescriptions delivered directly to my home. Did you?
These and more are important benefits some Medicare Advantage plans may give you. So if you're eligible for Medicare, call us right now because you may be eligible to enroll in a plan with amazing additional benefits. Some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for services like these: dental visits, vision coverage, hearing coverage, home delivery of drugs, even gym memberships. Some plans may include no copays for many services and 0 deductibles. Don't wait to find out if you're eligible to enroll in a plan that may include some of these wonderful benefits you deserve. Call us right now. The call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation. Make this free call now to learn if you're eligible to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan that may include additional benefits you want. Call us right now.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Get it? Love when I have this guy on with me. For those of you who've just joined us, Horace Cooper is a senior fellow at National Center for Public Policy Research, co-chairman of the Project 21 National Advisory Board, and legal commentator. And this is great. I mean, seriously, I'm glad you're saying this. Clarify that for the people that might have just joined us. You know, we're talking about this can't just be a recount if they go down that road. It has to also be an audit and a recount, correct?
Well, that's the point here. Is because of the systemic nature of these allegations, if the court ultimately intervenes, a much more dramatic remedy is likely to occur. In America today, the most common remedy in a non-criminal setting is a compensation payment. If I hit your car, if I knock down your fence, if I cut your favorite tree down, and you sue me and you prevail, I just have to write you a check. Now, I might not like that check, but I have to write you a check. But when it is determined that mere compensation alone cannot satisfy the circumstances, courts have to get creative. Now, we've had several civil rights cases and Voter Rights Act violation cases where courts ultimately ordered, 1, new elections, or 2, in a couple of cases, simply disqualified actual candidates. You just can't run. And in other cases, they said, we're going to quash ballots. We already know that those remedies have precedence. And the question is, due to the systemic nature of this, which of those remedies are in order? Mr. Rudy Giuliani, who is heading the legal effort, has identified between 100 and 250 in the case, 250,000 ballots in Philadelphia precincts that were tabulated while not allowing those parties who are lawfully allowed to observe them to occur, and a similar number but slightly larger in the state in Pittsburgh. It is possible that if there is no desire to rerun an election, that you may simply just have those ballots set aside. You take away between 250 and 450,000 ballots, that completely changes the outcome of that election in that state.
All right, so help some of my people, because I mean, I'm telling you, some of our people are really hurting because they're worried that this is going to be stolen from them. You're hearing all the major news networks, and I sadly to say, even Fox, saying that there's no way to turn this around based on fraud, that fraud is so hard to prove, and the whole 9 yards. But to your point a second ago, people aren't catching this. It's not a matter just of illegal votes cast. We've had, what is it now? They're up to 1,100 affidavits that have shown up to say, no. I saw them blow off signatures that were bad. There are dead people that were voted, and we can prove it. People who live out of state were casting votes. Those should be fairly simple to go through and disqualify, should they not?
Well, I am not going to go so far as to say simple, but it is a straightforward process. You would be able to ask the question, is this a registered voter? Is this person a person, like we have instances where someone, I once missed out on Super Bowl tickets. The only Super Bowl I was ever going to get to go to, well, maybe sometime in the future, but the only Super Bowl I was ever going to get to go to, and the person who invited me put the tickets in the mail. I go to Miami without the tickets, thinking they'll let me in anyway, and it's still 3 days later before the tickets arrive in the mailbox at my house. In this case, we have a person who sent their absentee ballot out on the 20th and got the form, their request for an absentee ballot, and got the form back on the 21st, and then mailed out a completed ballot and had it counted as voting by the 23rd. This is amazing accomplishment on the part of the U.S. Postal Service. So when a case like that and evidence like that is presented to a judge, what you get is an outcome that will look eerily similar to what happened in Paterson, New Jersey in April of 2020. I didn't say 2010. I didn't say 2000. I didn't say 1990.
Wow.
Just in April of this year, the judge said, no. Not going to accept this. We're declaring the election results in this election void, and we're going to hold a brand new election for it. It is a dramatic remedy. It is, however, not unprecedented.
Yeah. So I'm telling my people, you've been on enough times, you can tell me whether I'm off or not, but I'm telling people this ain't over yet, number one. Number two is I still believe, and I'm not because I'm a Trump nut, but I still believe that Trump will pull this off based on the legality of how these votes go down. Are you as optimistic?
Well, I told you at the beginning of this interview that what we saw was a blue mist, and that the sunlight is going to come and burn off the blue mist, and the amazing and remarkable red wave will actually be manifest. There are serious legal questions that need to be answered, and it is the nature and the size of the scope of the attempted theft that is most likely going to lead to it being uncovered. If you take a package of gum while no one is watching and you put it in your pocket, and please, if you're listening, do not try this. It is easier to walk out of the store unseen. If you grab the box with the 65-inch television and you put it in your shopping cart, tilting it up high in the sky, and just try to push it right out, I can guarantee you that you are going to get caught. And the scale of what was done is more akin to trying to get out with the television than it is with bubble gum. If it were only 25,000, maybe 45,000 votes across America, it would be very, very difficult to make your case in court and also to have it uncovered and then get your remedy. When you're looking at what could be 1, 2, or as much as 5 million votes, that process is very, very hard to cover up, and we're already having 11 separate whistleblowers, some who are election officials, some who work for the post office, some who were just witnesses who are presenting information. And by the way, in any trial, we have evidence. And that evidence is overwhelmingly presented by the testimony of witnesses.
Now, one last question for you before I let you go, and it's you're going to have to turn on your crystal ball for this one. I look at what's going down in this election, and the last few election cycles, honestly. How desperate are the Democrats to retain power or to get power, or how stupid do they think the American populace is?
So this is all about a conflict of visions between the progressive vision of government control and intervention and the idea that bureaucracies can control and protect and provide for you versus the idea of the person who believes in liberty, in being able to determine their own destiny, having the freedom and autonomy to make the choices about their lives. This is that conflict. Now, I've talked with you about why we support voter ID. It turns out dead people, felons, ghosts, and convicts disproportionately choose the one agenda over the other. Living people disproportionately choose the opposite. Just like when the Klan was destroying ballots, intimidating voters, and making it impossible for Black Americans to have a say in the policies that were happening in their communities, today's progressives is doing the same thing, except on a larger scale. They are preventing real, bona fide, living citizens who are stakeholders in their community from being able to choose what the policies are going to be that govern their lives. That conflict has led to desperation, and that conflict, I think, caused overreach in this instance, but thankfully, because of the tenacity of our incumbent president and the audacity of the theft, I think that blue mist is going to get burned away.
Well, from your mouth to God's ears, God bless you for what you're doing and for the stance you take, and you're willing to speak about it. How Trump is Making Black America Great can be found on Amazon. You hear him here. The book's just as good, if not better. Sorry, Horace, but go grab it. Read what he has to say, because you only get the truth of the show. God bless you, Horace. Thanks so much for being with me.
Thanks for having me on.
You know, I love having that guy on. Seriously, you got to go check him out. Horace Cooper. Do a little Google on him, or do a big Google. I don't care, whatever you prefer. But anyway, check him out, and check out Project 21. I mean, these guys have been around for a long time. They need your support. Look, they're out there fighting. Why not support them? Why not help them any way you can? Again, simply tell your friends about it. Hey,
are you paying too much for your health insurance? Are your deductibles too high? Or are you completely uninsured? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Healthcare Help Desk can help you now when people need help the most. Health insurance laws and rules have changed. If you have Obamacare, are uninsured, or your premiums are too high, call Healthcare Help Desk. It's free. New healthcare plans are available, and you may qualify for dental coverage and lower copays and deductibles. Make the free call now. Top quality coverage at the lowest prices anywhere. You may be paying too much and not even know it. In these troubled times, healthcare is more important than ever. Don't let another day go by without health insurance. Policies are being offered with very low copays and deductibles. So if you're uninsured, underinsured, or paying too much, call Healthcare Help Desk. Learn about your options before it's too late.
Call 800-964-1055. 800-964-1055.
Attention Medicare recipients and anyone turning 65. Medicare has approved new benefits not included with original Medicare and older Medicare Advantage plans. You may not be getting all of the benefits you're entitled to. These new Medicare Advantage plans may have many free new benefits, including in-home aids, telephone appointments with your doctors, home-delivered meals and prescriptions. These benefits may be available, and it's a free call to enroll. The easiest way to enroll is to call the Medicare Benefits Line, a free non-government service. The new plans may also offer free eyeglasses, free hearing aids, free wellness visits, and gym memberships. Call the Medicare Benefits Line now. It's easy. Find out if you're eligible for new benefits like meal and prescription delivery, in-home aids, and telemedicine. Some plans may have a $0 monthly premium or zero copays for big out-of-pocket savings.
Call 800-691-1655. 800-691-1655.
Medicare Benefits Line is not connected with or endorsed by any government agency or the federal Medicare program.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-447-7570. 800-447-7570.